Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and we have a palette today, you guys. I don't know what it is about palettes, and I don't know what it is about this color story, but I love it a little bit, and I don't know why, but I'm excited to play with it. It's the Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette. I got mine on Amazon. This was like this weird thing that like Maybelline is doing, and like L'Oreal I think is doing one now, even though I'm pretty sure they're owned by the same people. Whatever, I digress. But it's this thing where they're like putting it on Amazon with pre-sale. So you go on, you can buy it like a month early, and then you get it the day after it releases or whatever. Well, they did a pre-release of this, and I got it. And it was smashed into oblivion. So immediately I was like pissed because the way it was packaged was so stupid. And I was like, okay, so I you know, I'm like, excuse me, Amazon, I need a new one of these ASAP, please. I have to review this. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, goodbye. No. Said. So I do this, and Amazon's like, actually, sorry that it right broken. We will refund you, but you can't have a new one for a month. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And so we went through this thing, and I was like, Amazon, I'm not playing your game. I go to Twitter, and I'm like, hello, Maybelline. How are you doing today? Will you be my friend? Oh, and P.S. my thing arrived damaged. Here are the photos. Please fix this. They don't want to reship for a month, and I'm going to have a heart attack. Signed, Paige. P.S. I have Jesus as backup. Send. And Maybelline was like, oh, honey girl, boo-boo child, DM us your address, and we will get you a new one sent out right now. And I was like, thank you very much, goodbye. So, you guys, that is how I got this. I don't know why all of that was necessary, but I really just felt like it was necessary to give you the backstory. So this review would have been up a long time ago had I had this palette, but I did not. So, alas, you had to wait. But it is currently $10.99 free shipping if you are a Prime member. And that is like the pre-order price or something. I don't know how all of that works. Maybe when it releases, it'll go up to $13. I don't know. I know you get 12 shades in the palette. At least I think that's what it is, isn't it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, you get 12 shades. 4 of them are bigger, and then like 8 of them are smaller. And that's pretty much all there is to say about the. Ooh, it only has 3.5 reviews so far. That don't sound good. I'm not gonna look. I don't want to look. I don't want to look. I don't want to look. I want to come to my own conclusions. So, the first thing I'm going to say about this palette, you guys, in all seriousness, is that when I was swatching these, they didn't swatch the best. Now, normally, I don't put a lot of, like, emphasis or care so much on swatches, but what really got me about these ones are the way that they feel. They feel very, very light. Almost like I'm swatching, like, talcum powder, that very light, soft, fluffy feel. And if you've ever swatched, like, a really nice, like, high-quality feeling shadow, like a Pat McGrath shadow, honestly, anything that's high quality, even, well, hell, even like a lot of, like Stila shadows, they swatch a lot like thicker, and they just feel like they're heftier, and they're just very rich in pigment. These were the opposite of that. They were not rich in pigment. I had to build up the swatches a lot, but the one thing I loved about this palette was just, I love the color story behind it. I loved the way that once you built everything up, I just feel like it reminds me of like a pink popsicle. Like the whole thing, it's very summer, very chill, very reminiscent. As far as the packaging goes, I'm not like obsessed, but it is only 10 bucks. But it's just a plastic, you know, packaging. I do like this part right here, how it's kind of like just more fun font, yellow border, like the overall look to it is nice. And then on the back, it does give you 3 different looks that you can go with, none of which I'll be looking at or caring about. So I don't know, you guys, overall, like at first oof, I was a little underwhelmed. Things I'm excited about: it does have different good like shades for overall lid colors if that's your jam. If you like to use like a light fluffy eyeshadow base to set your eyeshadow, like your primer type stuff, which I use the Urban Decay Eden primer. This is my jam. I always go in with this, and then I set it with my Coty Airspun like I have done today. A lot of people don't like that for whatever reason. They just don't like setting powder on their eyes. That's fine. This does come with lots of different like very light toned colors. The only problem is that they don't all go super deep. So depending on what your skin tone is, you may or may not have a really good overall lid color in here. But these would be the really like nice fluffy kind of shadows that would feel very light on your eye. So that's a huge plus, at least in my book. I love a good light shadow, but I also need them to have pigment. So I'm excited to put these on the eyes and kind of see what we get, where we get. And you know that your girl's about ready to take this little guy right here. We are adding some under eye coverage situation because your girl is not about ready to wear these festival colors. So it ain't happening. So I like to take and just set down just a little bit of this powder just to make sure that whatever fallout's about to happen, I can wipe it away later. So, now that we got that done, let's go ahead. I'm just like breathing in all the setting powder Cody F-Spun. I feel like if you breathe in enough of this, like you will just turn into an old lady. Is that weird? So let's go ahead. We're going to zoom you guys in. We're going to do an eye look. But before we get to that, we are going to zoom you guys in, do the swatches. And we're just going to have a good old time. First up, we have the matte shade Sherbet, Citrus, Berry Ice, Strawberry Lemonade, Ice Pop, Old Fashioned, which is a good like dark matte brown, Sunnies, Lemonade Craze, Coral Punch, Sugar Coated, which is like a good bronze shimmer, Main Squeeze, and Sweet Tea. So that right there is the whole palette. Shh, I'm very busy. I have to swatch. So the first brush I'm going to go in with is my fluffy Wet n Wild brush. This is one of my favorite crease brushes for really just dusting and getting into the crease. Now, based on this palette, you guys, I think it's pretty safe to surmise that we're going to be having like a more light look today, which I think is totally fine and a very nice, like refreshing kind of look. But I am really loving this hot pink and this yellow together, one of the shimmers. I mean, you guys know kind of the drill, but I'm just really more curious to see how these kind of look overall. And I'm hoping that that was long enough for you guys to kind of get your screen grab. I know some of you guys like to be able to get a screenshot of all the shadows on it so you can look them up and see what you think. So I'm thinking, what do I want to go in with first? You know, I think I am going to start just by dusting Lemonade Crazed, which is this yellow. I want to start by dusting that really lightly through the large crease. And then I want to go in with a hot pink shade lower and kind of work that into the main crease. I really want to just see if I can get the vibrant colors in here to really pop. Because, I mean, in my opinion, honestly, if you're looking at this palette, like, take those two colors out and it's very neutral. So if these colors are no good, then what are you really working with? And I'm not expecting miracles out of this yellow because I am very, like, light toned, but, oh, but where the hell is it? I mean, hello, is there yellow? Like, it's very clearly on my brush. Come on, your girl needs something. Like, you guys, there's more yellow on my brush than there is on my eyes. What the hell? Let's just keep building it up. And like I said, I did go ahead and set my eye primer. I have a feeling just based on this so far, if I would not have set my eye primer, this would be sticking down and I wouldn't be having an issue. But again, I am one of those people, I have to set my primer. Otherwise, my eyes crease literally instantaneously. So just FYI, if you have to, you're going to be building this up for a hot damn second. Because hello, here I sit. Building and building and building. And now I'm going to go in, same brush with the hot pink shade. And I'm going to start working that. Oh, I'm going to start working that a little bit lower into the crease. And just kind of fluffing it all the way through. I feel like anybody could do like a neutral look, but come on now. Okay, why is all of my color staying in the brush? Like, what is happening? Am I the only one noticing this? Like, there's so much on my brush right now, and then it's like the minute I touch it to my eye, it goes away. And I've used this brush so many times before, so it's not like it's the brush, guys. Come on. Alright, so it looks really pretty. I definitely think the trick with this shadow so far has been more of a setting motion and then lightly blending it out, because when I was like really fanning it through the crease like I normally would, it was not building up its color. It was actually starting to like want to remove my base that I had down, so not a fan of that. But I do think that once I kind of started patting it and then lightly fluffing just the corners of it, it worked out really nicely, and I think it fanned out really well. So, alright, not so bad, not the best, not the worst. We'll move on. What color do I want to go in with next? Actually, you know what? I'm going to kind of take that, I know you guys are probably like, Paige, do you own any other brushes? But I want to take the same brush, and I feel like I just need to do this more for me. I want to take the Coral Punch shade, which is just like the light pink color, and I want to dust that up here over top of that pink, because I feel like the yellow isn't giving me what I want, which is totally fine. I mean, I kind of went in blind, not knowing what I was going to get from that other pink. So I just want to make sure that I'm very nicely transitioned. There's no saying we can't put some yellow in there later. It's just for right now, I definitely need that to look a little bit more seamless. Oh yeah, that looks real good, actually. Okay, so per usual, I'm going to go in with my Too Faced glitter glue here, and we're going to plop some of that on my finger. And And then we're going to plop that on the eye. All right, so as a lot of you guys know, I do just take these on my finger and then I kind of lightly pat them onto the eye. And then I'm going to take my finger and I'm going into the shade Strawberry Lemonade, and I'm just going to lightly pat this shade over that glitter glue. You guys, everyone's opinion of glitter glue is different. Some people are like, oh, you should only use glitter glue like if you're working with loose pigments, or oh, you should only use it, I mean, and fill in the blank. Like, literally everyone has their own opinion of it. And I've actually seen a lot of people catch shade for doing it the way that I do it. And the way that I always say things on my channel is that you have to do things for your eye that work best for your eye. So for me, if I know that that's how stuff sticks better, then that's what I'm gonna do. So it's just, it really is a matter of personal preference, but don't ever let other people try to like shade you out of what you think works best, because at the end of the day, who's got to wear the damn makeup? You do. So I'm taking that same fluffy brush. I went back into the shade Ice Pop, which is that hot pink color. I just want to take some of that and kind of run it right through here. I don't want to redefine it. I just want to shadow it out a little bit lighter. I will say these shadows are blending beautifully. Like, they're all blending into each other. They look really like nice and soft, which I really appreciate. I'm digging that part so far. So now your girl's got to find her other brush. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm not going to find a new brush. I'm going to go in with that same fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Old Fashioned, which is the dark matte brown in this palette. And I am going to start I want to kind of tap it on the outer V. And the reason that I normally go in with a more dense brush is because I like to really be able to pack the color. But because I'm going for such a soft, like more diffused look right now, I don't want to pack color. I want it to kind of disperse and just look very airbrushed right there. Because right now it's just looking very natural and effortless. And I feel like adding a bunch of structure to it at this point would just be wrong. And I'm not all about that. And then where I do want it to be darker, which is mainly right in this area, I'm just grabbing a tiny amount of the product and I'm kind of placing it right there. And then whatever naturally falls off through the patting motion is fine. But other than that, it's just blending out ever so lightly with the patting motion. Just a little something like that. See how it just adds like a little bit to it, but it's still like nice and sultry. Now I am going to go in. This is a Morphe Y16 brush. It's still good and fluffy, but there's no product on it. And I'm just going to take and I want to run that through here real quick. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of the shade Sunnies, which is like that brighter white type shade. And I'm going to run that up in the brow bone area, like right up in here, just to naturally kind of push that back down and make sure that my brow bone stays decent and like blended right through there. That's really pretty. Like, I know that it's really simple, but I really enjoy it. Part of me kind of almost wants to wreck it because that's what I do. I'm like that person that I just can't stop. Like, once I start like a review or an eye look with a palette, I'm just like, well, why can't I use every color? Well, Paige, because there's 12 colors and you're going to look like a hoochie that got lost in a t-shirt tie-dyeing contest. I actually am going to go in. This is my Wet n Wild. It's like another one, but it's a little bit more dense than the fluffy one I've been using. And I want to take this and go back into that Old Fashioned, the dark brown shade. And I want to dab that on the outer corner ever so slightly and just deepen it up just a tiny bit. And I actually want to take this nice little Wet n Wild brush right here and I want to go into the shade Main Squeeze, which is like a really light pop of like shimmery yellow. And I want to take it, it is on a brush, so it's going to be a lot more flaky. But what I'm interested in is taking this light shade and just popping it in the inner near corner of the eye on top of this pink shade. It's not doing anything. Hold on. We're going to go in with the finger, guys. We're going in with the finger. And I just want to take it in there and just kind of take a little look around and see if I can brighten up that inner corner. I like to have a lot of dimension, or as much as dimension as I possibly can, between my inner and my middle and then my middle and my out. It's just kind of how I like my eye shape to look. So I'm just kind of taking and stamping that in there with my finger. And the interesting part about this shade is that I really didn't like it when I swatched it, because it's just a really light, like clear kind of sparkle. And I was like, what's the point of this shadow? But I think honestly it would make a beautiful topper to any shade in here. Or if you're doing like a no makeup look and you just need something like, you know, quick and easy and something you could like throw all over your lid, I think this would make a good shade for that. The downside, of course, still being that it is a very crumbly shadow. So, like, it's probably not going to stay real well, but it did do a really nice job of just kind of brightening that inner area on the eye. I do like that. I thought about using it as an inner eye highlight, but it looks like it's a ton of like glitter chunks, and I'm not all about glitter in the inner eye. It's not my jam. So that is real pretty, actually. Like, I'm pretty impressed with how nice that looks right now. And I'm still like tempted to take it one step further. You know what? Screw it. Let's go ahead and take it one step further. I'm going to go in with a little bit of that. Do I want to do that? No. I'm going to go in with just my finger and that shade Sugar Coated, which is the dark bronzy shade. And I want to place that on the outer portion of my eye, just like right through here. And I just want to add a little bit more dimension because I know, like, you guys, I'm all about a really light, flirty eye. I'm fine with that. But, like, I can't when there's just nothing fun about the eye look. I just can't do it. It's not my thing. You got to add some Flavor Flav. Did I just say Flavor Flav? Oh, God. Flavor Flav. And then I just take the other shade, that Lemonade, the pink color, pink shimmer, and I blend that over top of that bronzy color until I feel like they are very nicely mixed. And I will say this bronze color, what is the name of this? Sugar Coated. That's the color that I just packed out here. It is a beautiful bronze, but it has a different feeling to it than literally every other shade in the palette. That one actually feels really high quality and really beautiful, whereas the rest of them do have like that cheaper, more like loose glitter feel. This one actually feels like a nice packed, intense shine color, which is a really nice juxtaposition to the other shadows. Oh, that is freaking gorgeous. Hello. And I want to go into that dark Old Fashioned, the matte brown shade, and I do want to kind of reset that outer V a little bit. Just pack a little bit of this color on there. See, the problem is that, you guys, I'm that person that, like, I always try to make, like, a deep smoky look. Even when the palette is like, Paige, stop trying to do a deep smoky look. We are not a deep smoky palette. And I'm like, do you want to be? Like, that's me. I'm that person. It's okay. Okay, I am so glad that I did not stop where I was going to stop before, because that looks 10 times, like, nicer and just more sultry than the other one did. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so for my lower lash line, I'm going to go in with that BH Cosmetics number 7 brush. It's just like a really nice, small, fluffy brush, but I want to go into the shade Ice Pop, which is that hot pink, and I want to run that really nice and fluffy all over that lower lash line, because I love me a good, like, hot pink. Especially when I'm going to run a nice like brown shade into it. So it's going to be a nice light diffused hot pink. Ooh, yes. On the underside of that hot pink, I'm going to go in with the shade Sunnies, which is that more white tone shadow. And I'm just going to run that on the bottom side just to soften that up and make sure that it kind of fades naturally into my skin. And then right up close next to the lower lash line, I'm going to go into that shade Old Fashioned again. And we're just going to run that. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup. And the one thing that I'm really going to be kind of watching out for while I'm doing that is whether or not this makeup starts to come off. Because the one thing that I've noticed about these shadows is that they feel very cheap, not in like a bad way, but they feel cheap in a sense of if they're not stuck down, like they're going to fall off. So I feel like the shimmers might last, but I'm really concerned about the mattes and how they're going to last on my eye. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to finish it all up. I feel like it looks a little crazy right now, but I think when everything is on, I'll give you guys a close-up and you guys can kind of tell me what you think, what you like, what you know, what's going on. And yeah, I'll give you some final thoughts on this Lemonade Craze Palito. Oh, that was a ring light if I've ever seen one. Yes, queen. But we're gonna do some final thoughts on this palette right here. We're gonna see what's going on. We're just gonna see. Okay, you guys, I got my face all finished up. So this is this is the finished eye look, and I really love this. Like, I love the way it turned out, and my favorite part is when I shut my eyes, the way that it like pops up just over the hood. And the way that that pink just like fades into the brow bone, I feel like it makes my eyes look so much larger and lifted at the same time. I live for this. Okay, let's zoom it out because I'm looking crazy. Okay, sorry about that. Like, if I don't zoom myself back out, I'm going to look at the footage and be like, girl, what was wrong with you? If I were to, like, have to pick a description for this palette, it would be summer sexy. To the point where it's, like, it has a couple pops of color, but it's just, like, a lot of neutrals and shimmers and just overall on-the-go kind of moment. And I really do enjoy it. It is very, 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 very lightly lemon scented. So if you're the type of person that you're like, oh my God, it's going to be overpowering, I promise you it's not. Yeah, like I have a really sensitive nose for sniffs and it's not that bad. You know what, guys? The main thing that I'm seeing as I kind of look through all my different palettes, you guys, my dog is making so much noise. Wait, do you hear that? Do you know why? Because she just woke up and realized that I was back here and that she's out there. She's having a heart attack. Anyways, the one thing that I'm noticing about this palette, I just sifted through a ton of my like drugstore palettes. I was trying to find one that's really comparable in price. And the reality is that like even Wet n Wild has a ton of these little guys out. You guys, these are such high quality pigments. It's not even funny. Like these shadows are so good. And they are like, what, half the price of this? So if you're looking for like the bronzy brownie kind of tones, I would go with anything from Wet n Wild at the drugstore that are like this. These palettes are so good, and I think they're going to release a couple more like in these same like pan sets, but they're going to have different colors in them. And then if you're looking for just like, well, Paige, what am I going to do about the couple colors? You guys, go ColourPop. If you are ever looking for like a bright single shadow and you're like, okay, I really want this, I don't want to pay a ton of money, you can get an amazing single shadow from ColourPop for like $4. And if I could find the one that I was looking for right now in my drawer, I totally would show it to you. But I literally have that exact same shade in the ColourPop shadows, and it's 10 times more pigmented. You guys have seen me use it on camera. It's so good. So, I mean, for me, for $10.99, is it a bad palette? No. Is it my favorite? Also, no. I think that if you're the type of person that you like the light wash of color and you don't want to have to worry about it being too pigmented and too over the top when you go in, I think this would suit you really well. I know saying that on camera, a lot of people are like, who would want that palette? There are actually a lot of women that I've spoke to and that I know in real life that they prefer palettes like this that don't have too much bam to them because they don't like the feeling of, oh my God, it's going to be too much. Oh my God, it's going to be too much. They don't like that. So, I mean, it does have its place. I don't know that it has its place for me specifically. If you're like an avid makeup collector and you have a ton, I don't think you need this. I don't think there's anything like outrageously special about it in any way, shape, or form. But if you did pick it up, I don't think you'll be terribly disappointed, but I don't think you're going to love it. Well, you guys, that's it for this video. I'm sorry it couldn't have been, you know, a little bit more intense and exciting and happy and all that kind of stuff. I kind of feel like it was a little bit of a downer because it wasn't like a rave, but the reality is that not everything can be a huge hit. So, you guys, that's it, but please do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below if you have not already. I really enjoy that you guys are growing and that my subscribers are growing and that you love me even though my dog makes that much noise in the background. I seriously appreciate you guys so much. I do put up new videos pretty much Monday through Friday. A new one every day. It's a review or it's a this or it's a that. Mondays are usually vlogs, you know, that kind of thing. So let me guys, who am I? Let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you guys are ever curious about or that you want to know or that you would like me to do a video on. I'm always open for like new ideas, suggestions, all that kind of stuff. Please do not leave without subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, don't forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this. And I will see you in the next one. Lemonade craze, not the most crazy about it, but my face looks so damn pretty.